Okay, are we ready for snowflakes? I wanted to pause here at the beginning to let you know that you have a lot of different options for this tutorial. I am going to be using a white gel pen for part of it. If you've got one of those on hand, great. If not, you can use a white crayon and just go over everything with white crayon. Even wax works. The white in your palette would be fine too. It won't be as stark of a white, but you've got a lot of options here. So I'm just going to show you this way, and then you can decide what you want to do. So right now I'm just mixing my two blues, my ultramarine and my intense blue. And I'm just getting a nice, deep, beautiful blue color. And I am just going to go over most of my snowflakes. I'm going to save that big one, and I'm not going to touch that for now, but I'm just going in and I'm just adding a lot of water and I'm letting it bloom. Bloom is where you just add the color to your paper, and then you add a lot of water and you just kind of let the watercolor pigments move around and do their magic. So I'm just being very generous with both my water and my paint, being careful not to get into that big snowflake there. And as you can see, the water and the paint are just kind of moving around on their own. I'm just kind of doing a swirling motion with my paintbrush. Now, if you're doing it with a crayon before, then you'll see that the paint will dissipate around the crayon, and you'll just have your snowflakes will just happen naturally and look really cool. I used to trace this. I used some tracing paper that has a little bit of wax in it, and so my paint is naturally just kind of going away from those black lines, as you can see. So you'll have the same kind of effect if you use a crayon. Okay. Just having fun. Just have fun with this. Just let your paint move and turn into some really cool patterns for you. And now I'm just kind of going in and darkening areas, adding water to other areas. I want it to kind of look like a swirly sky behind. Just getting my edges. Okay, now I'm going to just go in and focus on the areas around my larger snowflake. So I'm just kind of fanning out and going in the tip of my brush, just being very careful to just stay outside of those lines. This is really good practice for your line work. So if you didn't do a crayon, this is really good practice for you. Remember, if you bump or you get inside that line and you don't want to, you can really quickly just dab it with your paper towel, and it will usually just erase that right away for you. But don't stress too much about it because snowflakes are very forgiving. So if you don't, if you get a little bit of blue in there, it's okay. It'll make it look even cooler. Lots of cool facts about snowflakes and nature's art this month. Hope you enjoyed those. I learned a lot. Okay, so now I'm just doing kind of straight lines away from there. Okay, and so I'm just going to keep doing the same thing throughout each section of this snowflake. And just continually fanning it out to the main area. Some places are going to be darker than others, and that's exactly what we want. You can see, you'll be able to see on your paper how the watercolor is blooming all around. So pretty, all the different levels of pigment that form as it dries. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to kind of fan that out, add a little bit more pigment to some areas that I think could use it. And then I'm just adding a bit more water to just kind of have it all meld together here. Okay, so I'm going to wash out my brush, and I am using this, it's a Uniball pen. It's just I found it at Michael's, and it's just a gel pen. It's a white gel pen. So I'm just going to go over each of these lines for my other snowflakes. I'm going to the area that's the most dry first so that it will work on there. So again, you can use, there's the white paint there in your palette. That will work. And then there you could also use white gouache if you've got that handy. Or as I said before, you can always use crayons, but it's best to use those before. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can use. There's white pastels if you have those handy. Those are always really fun to use. They show up really well as well. So have fun. Just be creative with what you've got on hand. If you want to go ahead and purchase this pen, I believe I paid $1, maybe $1.50 for it, and it's a really fun thing to have just in general for any of your watercolor. It's really easy to add highlights and things with this pen. So yeah, have fun. So I'm just going to continue to go over all of these lines. Makes a really nice, it's almost a lace looking snowflake. My kids and I went out the other day when it was finally snowing here in Idaho, and we got our black gloves. We put them out into the snow and then picked them up and got our magnifying glasses and had so much fun looking at all the different patterns of the snowflakes. If you haven't ever done that, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. I would love to hear what other kind of snowflake things you do, um, and what your favorite thing to do in the snow is. We got sleds this year for Christmas, but we haven't been able to use them yet because our snow has melted really quickly after we've had a snowfall. It melts pretty quickly, so we're kind of hoping for a good one so that we can use our sleds. Okay, just finishing up on this last snowflake here. And this one is pretty much done once we are done outlining these snowflakes. So if you have time, try different methods. Try starting with the crayon and just having fun painting over that. Or you can try pastels, or I didn't mention before, but a chalk pencil is really fun. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you're having a wonderful January. We'll see you next time. Bye.